Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Bante, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 12 of our 14-day practice. And Bante, when you're ready, if you could lead us off into the Five Remembrances, please.
Thank you, Alan. So we'll continue with our practice of the Five Remembrances. I'm going to hit the bell. You can follow the song, the sound until you can't hear it anymore. And then I'll begin with the Five Remembrances. I am subject to aging. There is no way to avoid aging. I am subject to ill health. There is no way to avoid illness. I am going to die. There is no way to avoid death. Everyone and everything that I love will change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My only true possessions are my actions. I cannot escape their consequences. All right, Alan, go ahead.
Thank you. So today we're going to talk about the Bodhisattva path. So let me start with the scripture real quick. Well, actually, just a saying. So a Bodhisattva is a great practitioner who is walking on the path toward Buddhahood by benefiting all sentient beings as well as themselves. And that's from Venerable Master Sing Yun. And so throughout our practice so far, we covered the Eightfold Path. We've talked about different topics, and it's all to build up your practice, build up your understanding of Buddhism, and how we actually interact with not just ourselves but the world. And so the Bodhisattvas. Let's talk about it very, very shortly and quickly. So the Buddha was a Bodhisattva many times in his past lives, and so that's kind of important. You can read his past life tales and stuff like that. But the point was, he was not awake and not enlightened yet. He wasn't a Buddha yet, but he encountered all these different types of situations, and it was his morality and conduct, and how he helped others and what he learned, throughout all these experiences that eventually accumulated into, him becoming the Buddha. And so when we're looking at our current situation, pandemic, our practice, we can kind of take that to heart as well too. So in especially Mahayana, we have the Bodhisattva path, but definitely the Buddha as a Bodhisattva was definitely talked about in Theravada as well too. So there's a strong desire for a Bodhisattva to help liberate all sentient beings called bodhicitta. And so they're doing it. And I'll talk about the mindset of a Bodhisattva in a second, but it's a strong desire, a strong mindset that they have. So when we're looking at once again our current situation and pandemic, we can just take it right down to as us as laypersons and our practice. What are we doing in everyday life to help all sentient beings? And it doesn't have to be as grand as maybe like something a Buddha did in a past life or anything like that. It's something simple. like I mentioned, a couple of times before, did you, pick up the groceries for, that elderly neighbor, or did you say a kind word, or what are we doing to, reduce the dukkha, in other people's lives, and what are we doing to help them on their path as well? So we're basically, if you will, for lack of a better term, unenlightened bodhisattvas. We're also not awake and we're not enlightened, but we're on that path, and we have this desire as well. Really interesting, especially like in Mahayana, we have several different bodhisattvas, and I'm sure you've all probably seen like an illustration of like this bodhisattva is like like 1,000 arms and stuff like that. There's these different bodhisattvas, and whether it's figuratively or actual, they're very interesting. Like the one with 1,000 arms, there's 1,000 arms to help people in different ways. So like each arm is for a different purpose. You have bodhisattvas that can speak in different languages and relate to people in different ways. And if you kind of think about that, in some ways, it's almost like the Buddha as well too. He was able to communicate and articulate his teachings to different people in different ways as well too, and his different actions. So we can definitely see this desire, these actions that we can also employ to some degree as unenlightened practitioners, unenlightened bodhisattvas. So there is a mindset of a bodhisattva. There's three parts. There's aspiration for awakening. So they want to achieve Buddhahood, which is part of the Mahayana branch. Great compassion. So quality, quality of mind that wishes to liberate sentient beings. And then skillful means applies the four means of embracing, which is giving, kind words, altruism, and empathy, so that sentient beings can be happy. And especially that last one, skillful means, is fantastic, especially for what everybody's going through right now. And skillful means is a way in Buddhism that you can help and you can talk to people in different ways. And we saw that with the Buddha and others enlightened disciples as well. They're able to almost understand, what is the best way to talk to somebody. Like when the Buddha talked to farmers was a different way than how he talked to a king, because he was able to skillfully talk to them, in a way that they would understand the teachings better. So during this practice, kind of think about this, can you be an unenlightened bodhisattva as you kind of go out there? You don't have to be perfect, but, kind of keep uh, that mindset, especially the skillful means portion. We want to, practice giving, kind words, altruism, and empathy in everything that we do. Bhante, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes, thank you, Alan. If we look at the life of Prince Siddhartha, the Bodhisattva, before he became the Buddha, um, every time he went out in his four excursions out of the palace and he encountered suffering in its different ways, um, he thought to himself, and he actually said this to his father, everyone that I know is going to die. Everyone that I know is going to suffer. I want to leave the palace. Let me leave the palace to find awakening. His father said no. He's like, and then Prince Siddhartha said, well, I want to save my wife and later on my own son, and I want to save you. And my duty as the king is to protect my people. But, they're all going to die. So I need to find a way to help them all. So even within the Theravada tradition, you can see in the four signs that the Buddha has a compassion towards all beings. And part of his renunciation and going into the homeless life and trying to become the Buddha is to save others, and he did end up, all his family members, most of them ended up becoming, like, his son became a fully awakened being and was liberated. His wife became a nun also and became awakened. His auntie, who was his mother for all practical reasons, also became liberated. Many of his cousins, many of the people from his kingdom. So really his aspiration came from noticing that first he himself has to go through all of this, and then all his family members have to go through this. So this really motivated him uh, uh, to go out and seek awakening. So here we even see how a bodhisattva thinks, right? A bodhisattva is someone to become awakened. That can be maybe a more literal translation. Doesn't sound as nice, but and if we look at the Jataka stories of the Buddha's previous lives, we see that the Buddha did so many selfless things. So many times when he was an animal, he sacrificed his life so others can live. Once he was a rabbit and he threw himself into a flame to feed a hunter. Another time, when he was a human, he gave his life to a hungry tigress, which is a very famous story, so she can feed her baby and she wouldn't end up eating her little cub. In another life, he gave away his family, all his property, his children, his wife, uh, to another person who wanted them more. Uh, so here we can see that the Buddha himself, or the Bodhisattva, the Buddha to be, did so many selfless things in order to get to that level. And the practice of the paramitas, we didn't talk about it today, but that's something we should reference also. The perfections, or the higher qualities, like a more literal translation. So with this in mind, I think it's only right that we continue with the loving kindness meditation, so we can focus on helping others, the happiness of others, alleviating the suffering of others. Also, the joyfulness that arises from the success of others. That's something we haven't talked about. Also, this metta, loving kindness, compassion, has a deeper dimension called mudita. Mudita literally means joy. It's a selfless joy uh, that completely destroys all resentment or jealousy. So the happiness of others becomes like your happiness too. When someone is successful, you're happy for them. Even if it's your annoying coworker and he gets a promotion and you think he doesn't deserve it, you see him smile, you see him rejoice, and you're happy for him that he's happy, right? Regardless whether he deserves it or not, that is his karma. So we have to remember the remembrance there, right? He has to deal with it somehow if he doesn't deserve it. But be happy for him because he's happy, and at least in those moments when he's happy, he's not gonna, or she's not gonna be a jerk during those moments, at least, right? Because they're happy. So that's also an important thing. So when we develop this loving kindness, we get rid of all anger, we get rid of fear, we get rid of resentment, we get rid of jealousy, we get rid of all these unwholesome states. So in order to cultivate this mind of awakening, bodhicitta, let's go ahead and practice loving kindness meditation. And I'm going to guide you through it. It's going to be like semi-guided. I'll take large pauses in between just to set up the practice stage from stage. So this is one way of practicing loving kindness, is starting with oneself, then those around us, like in our homes, in our neighborhood, then the city, then the state, then the country, then the world, then the entire universe. So I invite you now to take a comfortable seat with your back straight. I'm gonna hit the bell, and then I'll guide you through this loving kindness meditation. So just go ahead and relax. Close your eyes if you like. And hear the sound of the bell. May I be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May I be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May I be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May all beings in this neighborhood be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May all beings in this neighborhood be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May all beings throughout the entire world be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. May all beings throughout the entire world be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Now that your mind is calm, body is relaxed, you can bless yourself with your calm mind by the power of this harmonious action. May you be free from immature company. May you always have good companions until you realize nirvana. Alan, is there anything else?
Nothing else, Bonte. Thank you for that wonderful meditation. That was great, and I agree. Let's continue with loving kindness practice as well during this time. I think that's a great point.
All right, everyone. So may you be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.